Hello, everyone. This is I think this is gonna be a pretty interesting video. It's on 4-ACO Met, which I like to call I like to call it Comet. It's known as like azitocin or some shit. It's pretty rare. I've seen one report of this on YouTube, and that report said he saw one. So I bet that there's like two on YouTube. It's a tryptamine that's supposedly like a prodrug to 4-HOMET or Mitocin, which is, it's still not very well known, but it's a lot like more common than Comet. Like I've seen actually a couple trip reports on it. It's more widely used. So supposedly this is like a really good beginner psychedelic, but I don't entirely agree. So I'm going to detail two of my experience. So the first time I took it, I took 20 to 20, I think honestly 25 milligrams, and it hit about 30 minutes later. Time was really slow, and there was surprisingly strong visuals. They were very, very shrooms-like. That's the most similar I could call these visuals, is shrooms-like. And there was a very, very, very anxious like mindset. I've never had a bad trip, surprisingly, out of all the stuff I've done, but this felt so close. I was actually like really worried that I was gonna have a bad trip, and my friend was as well. It was probably one of the roughest come-ups on any psych I've ever had. However, after like 30 minutes, or yeah, about actually maybe like 20 of the rough come up, it just completely smoothed out. It was so like, it didn't even like slowly go away. It just disappeared. Like I was anxious 1 second, I wasn't. It was just there. And I have never, both me and my friend, both remarked that how like intuitive you get. Like we were making music, and I have never made music with that much focus. I have I was discovering new like methods of playing all the instruments that I was playing, like the clarinet and the bass, drums and guitar. I was doing stuff that I've never even thought of trying, and I was just coming up with all these new like fucking like weird ass atonal scales and like these experimental ass like drum patterns, and I have no idea where that came from, and I have never had anything like that happen. If I had to compare it to anything, I'd say it's somewhat similar to making music on MDMA or MDA. But with MDA, I tend to get very distracted when I'm making music. Like, I'm like making music and I'm like, oh, this is so good. And then I'm like, oh shit. And I'll just like stop talking for a bit, and I'll just like not black out, I'll just blank what I'm doing. And then I'll start thinking about, oh man, I'm really high. I should go get some water. My jaw hurts. What am I doing? Oh, I should go to this place tomorrow. Oh shit, I should play Counter-Strike. Oh, what am I doing? Oh, I'm playing music. Like, it's just that kind of loop every like 10 minutes, which gets annoying. But with this, the entire 4 hours, there was no break. I was just complete. We were just going. Like, there was absolutely no break. In terms of the visuals, there wasn't, I honestly thought it would be more intense visually. It was visually akin to like 3 grams. There was very nice tracers. The colors were cool. There were some patterns, to be fair. There was some very interesting like Mazatec kind of looking overlays on everything, but it wasn't anything intense. The most impressive thing was the focus and the music. And I was also very social, like also MDMA like. So the second time I took it with about 110 micrograms of LSD. And I took the acid, and then about an hour and 10 minutes later, I took 20 milligrams of it. When I first got it, I like took the bit and then I put the rest into a vial, and I didn't realize the vial was wet at the bottom. So it basically solidified into the vial, and then like the week after when I took it the second time, I was like, what the fuck? Why isn't it coming out? And I got about 10 milligrams out, and I was like, shit. So I just filled the vial with water and downed it. And oh my God, I can't even explain the taste. It was abhorrent. Like, oh my God, one of the worst psychs I've ever tasted. If you have ever taken gel caps and drain them, like robo-gels, and drain them to get the DXM, it's a very efficient way of doing DXM. Probably my favorite way. The taste is fucking terrible. And this was like that, but it was worse because I didn't have a chaser, because I didn't think it was going to taste that bad, because the powder was like, it was bad, but it wasn't that bad. So yeah, that was terrible. And immediately upon drinking it, I got like this trip head rush. So yeah, about 30 minutes later, it started hitting again. My vision was getting like really slow, and there were so many overlays, and there was like these auditory hallucinations of oscillations, which I kept hearing on acid and Ethlet. I think I mentioned hearing them on that. I haven't even cut past the comeup at that point, and the comeup was it wasn't as intense, I'll say that, but it still was pretty bumpy. I did have a very, very solid moment of actual fear, like, holy fuck, I don't even know, like, what's gonna happen. But then I was fine, and I did write some music for this, but it was later in the night, so I couldn't, like, fully, like, explore sound. I had to, like, play quietly because people were trying to sleep. So yeah, there was that. There was like these like crystals, like fractal crystals that were like forming around the guitar strings, and every time I play them, they'd shoot off into the air, which was really fucking cool. And everything was like the shedding LSD thing, but a lot slower. The visuals are honestly, the visuals from this look like the visuals if you were to Jedi flip, which is MDMA, mushrooms, and acid. It was the exact same. And to be honest, this whole experience was basically a Jedi flip, except there wasn't that like extreme like strung out feeling and like annoying vasoconstriction that you'd have from the MDMA on a Jedi flip. So about maybe an hour or so later, I started watching RoboCop, and I've never seen RoboCop, and I've never wanted to see it. I've always thought it was some shitty Terminator type movie that is just like one of those things that's worshipped by like fat rednecks who wear like beer guns and tits hats. I thought it was just gonna be a stupid fucking movie. But my friend told me to watch it, and I was like, you know what, maybe I'll watch it. I'll give it a chance. And holy fucking shit, every single actor I have seen in, like, there's a guy from the X-Files, there's a guy from Twin Peaks, two of my favorite shows, there's the fucking dad from That 70s Show, there's, like, I could name so many actors that I've seen in other movies, and on top of that, every scene I've seen, like, mocked in some other, like, show, or sampled in, like, I feel like Mr. Bungle has sampled that movie, and there was all these moments where I'd be like, I've seen this fucking scene. I've heard this sample. I know that actor, but I've never seen the movie. And it was the weirdest shit ever. It was like the whole movie was like the craziest deja vu of all time. Because I was like, I knew what was happening. I knew what was going to happen. But at the same time, I didn't, because I've never fucking seen the movie. And the people's faces, like, there's so many moments where, like, someone will say something, and one of the guys will, like, stare at them angrily, and their face was like warping like in photo booth. It was so funny. And the whole news section at the beginning, how it opens like that, and the satire, like somewhat self-aware comedy, was so fitting for this combination. It was amazing, and honestly, for some reason, I really, really, really liked it. And RoboCop is probably one of my favorite movies now, just because of that experience. So yeah, the whole movie I was just looping through like, holy fuck, this is so surreal. This is all like this crazy deja vu shit. So yeah, that was about the end. I did end up snorting a little bit at the end because I was trying to, like, I poured out the 10 milligrams that I poured it onto paper, and I poured it back in a dry vial for later, and some of it spilled, and I just couldn't, like, get it back into the vial, so I was like, whatever. So I snorted it at the about 6 hour mark when the comet was wearing off, but the acid was starting to peak, and I don't know, I mean, it was 5 milligrams in general. It wasn't much, but it definitely got me a little bit, but, you know, I don't know. So I don't really have a lot of experience with snorting it. But overall, this that combination especially was by far one of the best combinations I've ever had. The drug itself is definitely one of the most entertaining psychs. If you're into music, I highly recommend taking this for music. That being said, in regards to the beginner psychedelic statement, I would say yes, except the come up is particularly intense or rough. Maybe just for me for some reason, which is weird because I never have bad experiences. But these come ups, man, I don't fucking know what the fuck was going on with those. They were a bit fucked. I haven't done 4-HOMET, so I don't know how similar it is. But since it's a prodrug, I guess that it's probably similar. And I have like a little bit of a hypothesis that the rough come up is the comet converting into the HOMET. So maybe that's it. Maybe that's not it. Maybe that's why it's rough. I have no fucking idea. But I recommend this to people who like music especially. Very good with acid. Not the greatest for beginners, but intermediates, I'd say. Definitely a very good psych. And yeah, hell yeah, man. That shit was really good. So yeah, goodbye.